Are you just about tired of work? Just about tired of dealing with it? Then you are in the company of a lot of other people, and this video is for you. I feel like we're going through an epidemic, in particular with the younger generations, where people are just simply tired of working. They are over it. And I think that the issue actually goes way beyond just job satisfaction and is a little bit bigger of an issue than maybe most people are thinking. I think a lot of people have framed this up as a form of laziness. People just don't want to work, particularly with the younger generations. The idea is that you just have a bunch of lazy kids who don't want to do any work. However, I think actually it's probably less to do with laziness and more to do with clarity. And maybe clarity that all of us need. For years, we've been sold this narrative that, in fact, we can make it in life through our jobs. We go to school, we get our degree, we then leverage that into a great job. We stay at that great job for a while. We're loyal. The company rewards us with retirement plans and pensions, and then we end up retiring and being successful late in our career. Idea being, we work hard, we're loyal, the company rewards us, happy life. And yet, we're not seeing it. People aren't seeing it. Younger generations are looking at their parents. They're not seeing the promises played out. I think the older generations are starting to question whether the promise really paid out. And I think that is what's ultimately leading to this shift away. That, and is the work really meaningful? Is there purpose in the work that we're doing? And I think a lot of times the answer is no, there isn't. What most people seem to really be getting out of their job is a lot of burnout, stress, anxiety. And if you try to solve it by slowing down, it feels like you just get stagnation and ultimately just feel discontent and dissatisfied in the work that you're doing. Ultimately, we end up living lives that are absolutely full of work and have very little joy or happiness in them at all. I think really the question is what do we actually want in life? And I think it's flexibility, it's autonomy, it's peace, joy, some hope, a purpose, fulfilling our calling, those types of things, bigger picture things than what a job is typically going to offer us. I think it's a movement that is less anti-work than it is anti-pointless work. I think people aren't necessarily not wanting to work, they just want to do more meaningful work. It's no longer enough to just do the job. We need to know why we're doing it. And ultimately, what are we trading our time for? Are we trading our time for pointless, meaningless work that doesn't make us feel fulfilled, that doesn't provide us purpose? Or are we trading our time for something more fulfilling? Maybe even something outside of work that work will never accomplish. I think that is the ultimate question that everybody in today's day is asking themselves when it comes to their job. I think for a lot of the younger generations, they've gone the route of creativity. They've bought into this creator content. They've brought into this idea that they can go onto these social media platforms and create the life they want on there. And I think while some of them can, I think it actually sets up a lot of people for failure because they want quick growth. They want all of those things that come with the fame, the popularity, the freedom. But a lot of times, social media only portrays the best of those situations. It doesn't show the hard work or the behind the scenes. And ultimately, if you're not in that situation, you're not finding success there, you just feel stuck. You feel discontent with your job, you're not satisfied, and you feel like there's no way to get out of it. I think the main issue and where we all can improve is to realize that work is never going to fulfill the void that you're trying to fill. Ultimately, jobs are not created to give purpose and passion and calling They're created for a function. We find our purpose and our calling outside of work. And then the joy that we find outside of work can then filter into our jobs, not the other way around. Even a meaningful job is not enough. We need more than just work. We should live in a way that work isn't the linchpin of everything in our lives and how our lives go. Work today often feels robotic and unfulfilling. We're chasing things that really don't lead to the types of joy and fulfillment that we're after. Money, yes, it will bring happiness temporarily. Status, title, they're all superficial things. Things that, yeah, they may provide some level of satisfaction for a time, but ultimately they will fade away just like everything else. And the danger of all of this is that if we hit snags in our workplace, or if things at work start to go south, it takes a hit to our entire identity because we've wrapped up too much of ourselves into these jobs. And we're placing too much hope and expectations on the jobs that they're ultimately not going to be able to fulfill. Really and truthfully, work cannot fill in where God and faith belong. Our calling, our purpose in life is bigger than work. It's not going to be found at work. And if you're searching for it at work, then you will be steadily disappointed, steadily dissatisfied with where you are, and you will struggle with contentment. So many people look for their calling and their purpose in their career, but a calling is so much bigger than a career. Yes, you can accomplish your purpose and your calling within your career, but the career is not going to be your purpose. It's not going to be the calling that you have. And when we mistake these two things, thinking that our career is going to be the calling or is going to be the purpose that we have, we're setting expectations that ultimately make us more dissatisfied than we might otherwise be. We have to have the right mindset, or we'll create ourselves a trap. When we seek after our real purpose, we will be satisfied because God offers up a purpose that is not going to fade or fall apart when your job does. It's not going to take a dip when you have a failure at work. It's not going to leave you discontent or dissatisfied. It may be hard to find, and that is a challenge, but rest assured that God does have a purpose for you. You do have a calling, and you just have to live your life in such a way that you'll find it. And a lot of times it is just as simple as shifting your focus around. Stop worrying so much about if your job is fulfilling you, and look for fulfillment in the things that can actually fulfill you. When we've properly anchored our why in life to our faith, work then becomes a tool that we can use in those efforts, and less of an identity of who we are, which is the way it should be. Our work should not define us. It should just be a small part of a much larger picture that is who we are. I think ultimately the reason so many people are in this phase of not wanting to work is that really we're all searching for meaning. There is a growing hunger for meaning out there in the workforce, and it's unfortunate and fortunate. It's unfortunate because the workforce is not going to give you that meaning, but it's fortunate because people are looking for the right things. The days of just doing a job and being happy and making that a big thing are starting to fade. Hustle culture and other things have pushed us into this realm where everyone's chasing a dream or a passion. And I think people are starting to wake up and realize that actually, you know what? I think we can chase our dreams and passions, but it's not going to be in a cubicle in an office somewhere. It's not going to be in the work that we do, but rather how we live our lives. Things outside of work. We need to allow God to frame our work up in the right perspective. We need to take time to really see that, yes, work is important. Yes, work can be a part of our calling. We can fulfill our calling and purpose within work. But work has to be just a small piece of a much bigger puzzle to who we are. And if we get that balance wrong, we will struggle, we will be frustrated, and we will have a hard time. So hopefully you can get the right perspective, and let's just all try to put our jobs where they belong. Just a small piece of a much bigger puzzle. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.